But in that moment of saying hi, I saw him. And there was just a spark I felt. I asked my brother on the side, I was like, does he have a person? Like, is he in a relationship?
Hey, quick fast.
I was feeling so lost, and I was like, Jesus Christ, is this thing really going to happen?
To handle pressure.
I don't know how to handle so much pressure. For him, I remember he stood outside the compound and he did his hand like this, and he was like, anything I touch never loses or never goes
I don't believe
bad.
in defeat.
Will you always respect your husband?
Yes, I will.
Well, while a lot of ladies would admire to travel overseas to find love, my guest today traveled all the way from Texas, and while she was busy looking for answers and closure about her childhood, she found love in Kenya. I'm about to let them introduce themselves. And guys, this is the first episode of Tuko Love Talks with me, Jeremasi. And so before I talk too much, allow me to let my guests introduce themselves. Hi guys.
Hi.
How are you?
We're good.
You can tell us your names for the people who are meeting you for the first time.
Ladies first.
Oh, my name is Queen Ann Kendi Jenga. It has just changed. It was a year now it's Jenga. I'm a flight attendant by profession, and I'm a wife and a child of God. Yes, that's, I think, my introduction.
And you, gentleman?
I'm John Jenga Masharia, 31 years of age. I'm a businessman and a business administrator by profession. Yes, what else? Oh, a husband to Ann Kendi. A husband to Ann Kendi. Proud husband. Yeah.
We would like to know maybe a brief history of both of you growing up. I understand that you grew up in different countries, so we'd like to get that picture too.
So for me, I was born in Kenya and partially raised here until I was 12 years old, and then I moved to the United States with my parents.
To me, I was born in Karatina, Nyeri. But growing up in Ruai, that's where I spent all my childhood, like since primary. High school, nikaenda Kangema High School at Muranga. So me growing up, I grew up in a Christian family. I grew up with a dad and mom, so loving. But they were over 35 years in marriage.
Wow.
So I grew na watu pia wanapendana sana, there for each other. So I grew up nikiona marriage is a very good thing.
Queen has mentioned that you moved with your parents to Texas, but there's a point you are saying that you came back to look for your biological dad. Does it mean you were brought up by a stepfather?
Yes,
okay.
I was brought up. I don't call him a stepfather because of how he brought me up.
Okay.
So for me, I look at him just as a father. He brought me up with so much love since the first time he met my mom. So he's the dad that I knew. When I looked for my dad, I actually flew back. That first time that I came to see him.
At 17?
Yes.
Okay.
I flew back and I just started now uni at the time. And then after that, I came back now the next year. Now, because of how we were with my dad, I told myself I want to give the relationship with my biological dad a chance to see if it's going to change from what exactly I had. And so giving it a chance, it made me make a promise to myself, I'll fly back to Kenya every year to at least spend some time with my dad.
Okay.
So the following year I flew back, and during that time my dad introduced me to, I have a brother, he's my half brother, now we share the same dad. And my brother one day told me, unakanga kwa nyumba sana, so I want to take you out to tembe kidogo, unaweza tokea? So I told him it's fine. And so I went outside and we went. So where he took me, at the time I didn't know where he was taking me. So he took me to a football ground. And he was there with like 6 other guys, all his friends now I know. And I said hi to all of them. He told me, hey, say hi to my friends. So I said hi to all of them. But in that moment of saying hi, I saw him. And there was just a spark I felt.
Love at first sight.
And I asked my brother on the side, I was like, does he have a person? Like, is he in a relationship?
Hey, quick fast.
And my brother was like, yes.
Oh.
So my hopes died right there. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. We just continue with
And
life.
you stopped pursuing.
I stopped.
Eh.
Actually, I didn't even pursue. I just asked. You know,
And
if
that
I
was it.
That
You're
was
like,
it. But I'm a go-getter. So if I was told no, I was going to start the conversation, you know, start be friends and everything. So I was like, but when I was told, I respect relationships. So I said no, and my hopes just ended there. And I was like, oh, I guess we're...
Sasa hiyo mimi niko busy, ilikuwa charity.
You didn't even see her?
I did, but I was like, oh, this is your sister. His brother, we used to school with him, primary school. So we knew each other from a long time. So I was like, she's your sister. Oh, okay, nice to meet you. From the US. Oh, okay, that's it.
Nice to meet you.
Na nikakaa chini hapo. Like ilikuwa time ya bursary, nilikuwa nimeenda kutafutia my boys bursary. So like niko like mimi nikakaa chini like nikajua ni sister yake. Hata sikushughulika sana, but at one moment nilisikia akiuliza nikiwa hapo mbele. Anakuaga na mtu. Akaambia yeye anakuaga na mtu. So I was like, oh, let me continue with my business though. So nikai-click nikajua.
Umeiweka mahali.
Niliweka tu mahali lakini nikajiambia.
So that day we went and there was another friend of his. So the other friends left, but one of them was left there, and we went and played pool. Walienda wakacheza pool.
She was on demand, in short.
Oh.
So everybody wanted that.
Okay.
So we went and we played pool, and it was in that moment of playing pool that I got to know him. So he told me, hey, my name is Jenga. So at that moment, we actually never even exchanged contact.
Because he was dating. Why you dating?
No, I was seeing someone. I was just starting to see someone. It wasn't serious, but I knew it was heading somewhere.
He was from Kenya too?
Yes.
Okay. You and Kenyan guys. Okay.
I love my home. So we went and we played pool, and that day ended. Everybody went their different ways. So the next day, I want him to explain what happened.
Give us the tea master.
The next day alikuja akanipata, ilikuwa somewhere Quickmart Roy. I don't know what I was doing there. Akaniambia, hey, sasa poa sana. Nikamwambia, Queen, leo uko huku, leo unaenda wapi? Hakuna mahali naenda. Uko huku. Nikamwambia hata mimi saa zingine nakuanga hapa, I hang out with my boys. Akaniambia, oh, wow, tutammeet another day. Nikamwambia, it's okay. Nikamwambia, when are you going back to the US? Akaniambia, possibly next week. Nikamwambia, oh, that's nice. Can I have your number?
Who asked whose number?
I did.
Okay.
Akaniambia, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. Nikamwambia, okay. So I took a number. Na hata I never called. Hata sikujua akienda. Alienda kuniambia bye or stuff like I never texted that.
This time, in fact, you are dating.
I was dating. Yeah. So tukaenda tukakaa, but I used to see her status. She used to see my status too. So she would at times comment about my status. At times I did comment about her status too.
I am curious about something. When she's seen your status, did he used to post the girlfriend?
Yes. So me, I would always see MCM, Monday Crush Woman, Tuesday. You see, so for me,
Valentine, Couples Day.
So, and the same for me too. I was also as well now, at that time I was in a relationship. So the
now
same
you're
thing,
this man.
I was posting the same, just way.
I can just imagine your ex-partners watching this episode. They're like, they lied to us the whole time. They're friends.
It was just it was pure friendship. Like haikuwa na anything text that anything fishy.
No time we
haikuwa
ever...
anything fishy.
But unajua ulikuwa umemark.
Ni sawa but
unajua nile umeenda umeona this person is cute. Unaona umeuliza umeambiwa akona mtu. You stop there. You see me, even I went and I continued with whatever was the relationship that I kind of wanted to enter into, and we continued. For those, actually we were friends for 2 years.
2 good years, imagine.
2 years. And
nothing fishy, nothing anything.
Let me not find my man with a female friend. If this is what
there
happens.
was no time we ever texted any fishy anything. Thing. It was just once, even in 3 months, he'd be like, hi, how are you? Hi. I'd be like, I'm good, how are you? I'd be like, I'm good. Actually, at the time now, he had that job of KPA, so I would see him all the time with a construction hat. So I asked him, like, hey, I remember actually asking him, are you an engineer? You see, so he was like, I work for a construction company, I'm a manager and all of that. And so I told him, oh, that's nice. And he was like, how about you? I was like, no, I'm going to school. At the time I was pursuing nursing. So I told him, hey, I'm in school, I'm pursuing nursing. I was like, oh, I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best. That's it.
Does your 2 years friendship graduate to what we have today?
It graduates now 2022.
Okay, sorry. But before that, alikuwa amekuja Kenya. She used to come to Kenya every year twice. So I have to see her kila time, but not kumwambia ati, hey, I need to see you. She used to come to my football games.
Yeah, because his football team is very big in Ruai. So the first time I met him and now I knew him, he would also post about his football and stuff. So for me, I was not a football fan, but because now I have a friend who plays football, I decided, hey, let me just go watch the football match. So every time I would come, even just coincidentally, somehow we would meet. I would see him, I would say hi and all of that. So 2022, that's when everything changed. I came again to see my dad and to stay with my dad for a little bit. And during that time, I remember the first day I came, I saw him. So I was like, I was working at the time with my stepmother. We are very close friends. And my stepmother told me, there goes your brother. Because my brother, they were friends with him. They were very close. So I was so happy to see my brother. So I went and I hugged my brother. And then my brother told me, actually, Jenga is right there. So I saw him. I also went and hugged him. I was like, hi. And we talked a little bit. I was headed somewhere. I told him, hey, I'm leaving. I'll see you later. So after that day, we met again. I met
in a company of 6 boys.
Yeah, 6 boys again. I met him with his boys again. And so that day, I was curious. I haven't been seeing his status for a long time, like him post stuff.
Monitoring spirits.
So I asked him, just by the way, I was like, hey, are you still in a relationship, by the way? And he didn't answer. My brother answered for him. My brother saying, oh, apana, are you in a relationship? And coincidentally, at the same time, I was single. So I said,
God's plan.
So, and my brother, so because he didn't answer, I didn't take it serious because I wanted him to answer. So I think he didn't answer because he was in a company of his boys. He doesn't want his business everywhere. So when we were just the 2 of us, we were walking, I asked him, I said, hey, brother, are you still in a relationship? He was like, no, my relationship ended and I'm single. So for me, I was like, you're single.
It is my time.
This
my
is
time
my
to
time to shine. God, your plan.
A win is a win.
A win is a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he asked me too, was like, are you single? And I was like, yes, I'm very, very single. And I emphasized on the very, so that he knows it's your time to shoot your shot.
Underline. Please, son, read between the lines.
So after that, that's when like a few days later, he asked to go on a date.
Wow, Mr. Njega.
A few days, we are talking about almost 2 weeks. But at your moment, after your day, next day tulianza kuhang out. Kulikuwa na shop flani tulikuwa na with boys who used to stay. So angekuja kila siku ananiambia, hey, hello, uko wapi? Ushatoka home? Okay, niko hapa hivi, nikuogoje? Okay, leo mnaenda ground, nitakupeleka zoezi. So I'm like,
so you started spending
a lot of time together. Tukaanza kujuana, bonding ikaanza kuja tukajuana.
Yeah.
Each and every day. Nasema each and every day tulikuwa tunajuana a bit, a step. Nikaanza kumjua better, akaanza kunijua better. Nikamwambia how my relationship ended. She told me about her relationship too, how it ended. So I was like, can I try this? But considering I've never tried a long distance. So nikajiambia, but
you were scared.
I was scared at the moment.
What set him apart from the rest?
To be honest with you, I say it's God. Imagine, I can't give you an actual explanation because you see, when you see people, men for the first time, you can't just judge people because you just saw them. For him, when I just saw him, I felt, now I look back, I feel it was just God. Like, I didn't have a special explanation, but I felt something special about him at that particular moment.
Oh, wow. Jenga, the moment you were leaving your previous relationship, entering into this new relationship with Queen, what would you say was very special about her?
First of all, she was so loving, so caring. She used to call me, how are you? Where your mental health iko aje? Unaendeleaje? So one thing special about her, she was so loving, like she always cared about my day-to-day activity, my mental health, if I'm okay, if I'm good. I love she was always there for me when I needed someone to talk to, especially someone to talk to. At that moment pia, I was going through a lot. Considering nimekam to, it was a toxic relationship. So considering nimetoka hapo pia, like I needed someone to hear me out. Alafu I'm one person that I don't talk about myself so much. So to know me, you have to dig deep in me, kunijua zaidi. So na mi open up, I hardly open up. Yeah. But when I do ina depend takuonaje.
Yeah, when you are given a safe space.
So hii tu safe space, nilipata safe space. So nikajiambia I can give it a try. I can shoot my shot.
What was your biggest fear about trying this new adventure?
I've never imagined myself in a long distance relationship. So she was here. I was like, are you going back to the US? Yes, I must go back to the US. The moment tulianza kujuana ndio nika-realize ameka 4 years in the US. Nikajiambia, if I'm starting this thing, will I be able to cope with it? Considering she's pretty, I was like, ni watu wangapi wanamuona huko? Alafu for Kenyan ladies ilikuwa every lady, hakuna lady atakaye kwenda majuu. Alafu pile ile society nilikuwa wale madem pia walikuwa mabisi wangu, kila mtu alikuwa unasikia mimi naweza taka kwenda majuu niolewe na mzungu. So I was like, mbona yasiolewe na mzungu pia kwa majuu, so itawaka aje? So nika pray to God. I'm a prayerful person. So nikamwambia God, show me the way, take the wheel, nionyeshe if she is the right person. So the moment tunaendelea kujuana, but tukianza though nilikuwa nashinda nikimwambia I need to know you better. I want to know you better. Sitaki kujump to conclusion. Nikamwambia yes, I like you and I'm falling for you, but I want to know you better. Nataka kukuwa na hiyo assurance, like if you go back, will you still love me? Can I trust you still? Na through it all akaniambia yes you can. Tukaongea a lot about relationship.
I understand now that you're married. So you dated for how long before you officially made it legal?
We dated for
2 years. Oh, 2 years.
2 years of friendship, 2 years of being in love.
First of all, tell us about your proposal, whatever, your proposal.
Oh, my proposal.
Experience.
My proposal was 2023. It was on my birthday. Alikuwa amekuja kuvisit on ilikuwa August 2023. Ilikuwa November. Anasema like alikuwa amekuja on August. Akakuja August. So nikajiambia this time akikuja I want to make it official. Juu at that time ilikuwa 1 years counting. Tushapendana, asha win trust yangu, asha ni show like how trustworthy she can be. And I decided huyu anaweza kuwa dem. So nikajua this time when she comes, I'll make it official. Officially I'll make it official. So I planned a proposal thing. Nikajiambia I'll propose on November. I proposed to her on November 14th. It was my birthday. So nika-arrange, made arrangement, nikatumia, kuna vendor fulani alinifanyia arrangement poa. If you can trace back to the pictures, it was a good thing.
And me, I was actually planning for his birthday.
So I told her, don't plan about my birthday. I'll take you somewhere for a dinner, a double date dinner. Hiyo siku nilikuwa namwambia nakupeleka double date dinner. So I had a friend, nikamwambia nataka unipangie, do this thing, go buy me a ring, nikamwambia side the stuff. So na yeye akafanya job yake. So tukienda, she was like, tukienda nakaa Ruai. So tukitoka Ruai, tukionuba ananiambia, ai, na tunaenda wapi? Mbona huyo mwingine afiki? Nikamwambia already wako huko. So tuenda tuwapate. It was on Kiambu Road. So tukaenda, akapata everything was set, nikamclose eyes. Like, vile tu alikuwa na, I always saw them in movies. Nilimfanyia the same thing in movies. The same, nikamblindfold.
Must be nice.
Nikamshika mkono, nikamwalk. Hadi pale tulikuwa, kufungua macho, ndio akanipata down my knee. Will you marry me? Nikasema yes. Alafu sasa my friends wakatoka from nowhere huko nyuma. Nilikuwa na watu wengi, walikuwa shakuja already. Walikuwa wameshakuja na gari zao. So walikuwa wamejificha tu. So the moment nilisema will you marry me?
Yes.
Alinipata on my knees. Kusema yes, wengine wakatoka, friends wakatoka kule alikuwa.
Look at me smiling like a moo.
So she was like, really? Do you want to marry me? Are you sure? Yeah, sure thing. Will you marry me?
Because I was shocked. Like, unajua hata the way you can have a clue I never saw it coming. For me, I really did think we were going on a double date, especially the way we were with that couple. Like we were very good friends, and we had traveled initially before. We had gone on a little vacation together. Yeah. So for me, I knew, it's just another day. We are together. We are going to have fun together. Then boom, I'm like,
I'm good in planning.
Hey, he's very good in planning. Very good. Very.
Hey, dear future husband, please take Mr. Jenga's number. He will guide you accordingly. Hey, if you can copy paste those soap opera things into real life, hey.
Every girl's dream.
And you felt very nice.
I really felt so good, and in that moment I felt so loved. And kuna ile wimbo ya Maverick inaimbanga, I'll never be more loved than I am right now. I really did feel that like song that moment.
Good.
Yeah.
So after the proposal, you immediately went back to the US?
Immediately, because my job at the time was very demanding.
Sorry to cut you short. Hiyo time hata aliachwa na flight akienda that time. Hakuwa anataka kurudi back to the US. She wanted to stay back with me. So we went to the airport. Flight yake ilikuwa delayed, but ni juu yetu tulianza kuongea story kwa airport tukiwa kwa gari, tukaanza kuongea story. Then she was like, baby, nime-miss flight, let's go home, let's go back. Are you serious, baby? Your job? That time she's a flight attendant at Delta. So I was like, baby, your job, you'll help me write a letter. So I'm like, baby, why should you be happy? I want to stay with you, I want to be with you. I want to be with you too, but we look, tuangalie mbele future yetu kwanza. Juu hata mimi tukikaa naye pia mimi kwenda job itakuwa like itakuwa na feel umebaki home, alafu kabla adjust maisha yake ya Kenya ni hard sana. Yeye before adjust ali take time sana kwanza. Nilikuwa na a lot of patience with her.
How was that for you?
Adjusting back was hard, especially being
high life.
Yeah. But I was so used to a different type of life. And then now when I came here, life was also different as well. So kuna that adjusting because you love this person. But I think love makes it lighter to adjust. Yeah. So I was here because of love. So everything was just packaged in that love. And I was like, if this is what comes with being loved properly, I will as well deal with it and let's continue.
Now he has proposed, you have gone back to the US. Now we come to the marriage plan, the ceremony now, planning. I know it comes with a lot of pressure. I hear couples wanakosananga that time. How was it for you, considering that you are long distanced?
One thing with us, we have a lot of trust. But I'll tell you where our trust began. Our trust began with from the first time we started dating, we had one bank account. So our trust began there, immediately at that point. You know, people usually say, me, neza trust mtu na everything. But
no,
one
money.
thing I'm not going to trust someone with is a bank account. For me, my notion was, there is no way you are ever going to trust a man with your body and then you don't trust him with money. Money is something that can be looked for. Body is something that you can never replace. If you lose a hand, you lose a hand, and that's it. So if I'm giving you that level of trust with me, my body, my heart, kwanza, money to me, it's nothing. And it depends with how you value it. So for me, it was nothing. I was like, I will learn the lesson and move on. So that's where it started.
At first, alikuwa I think alikuwa nafikiria Uchelina yakanitoka do hata mimi accounting. So like nami nikamuuliza nikamwambia pia nikamwambia I was like hata ile ndio amepata kwa account, kwani mimi siwezi fikiria anaweza nitoka
because hata mimi nilimfind
kwani yeye zinitoka
in his own way with his own bank. So it was more so of hey, by the way venye hata nilimuuliza hivyo hata akaniambia kwani hata mimi yangu ilipata ikiwa empty. You found this and this there. And I was like, by the way. And actually what I was putting was less than what he had in there.
Wow. So wait a minute. So even currently, you only have a joint account.
Yes.
You don't have to some private accounts somewhere. Guy.
And let me tell you, it solves a lot of problem for us. But my mom has grown up telling me this, do what works for your marriage. But at the time we were dating, so we can't say marriage. But she has grown up saying, do what works for your marriage. Our relationship was unique to us. We're not telling every couple out there, hey, you go put your accounts together, it will work for you. No. For my family, my mom, she talks about it. She says, me and my husband, ours has worked. We have one joint and everyone has their own individual where we do our own things. And she was like, this has worked for my marriage. 25 years in marriage, it has worked. Then there is his dad and his mom, who they have also done one joint account forever. And 35 years in, it has worked for them. And as we chose, this is what is working for us. And there's couples who are like, look, for me and my husband, everybody has their own. We separate the bills, everyone pays, and it has worked for us. Do what works for your relationship. For us, having one bank account was a way also to help us build trust with each other. For us. So it started there. Fast forward now to us planning for our ceremony, now our traditional wedding. We already had that bank account. So what we sat down and we told each other is we do not want any mchango. We do not want any committee. We don't even want our people to come in a way of saying, let us help you. Because
we don't want a planner.
And we don't want a planner.
You didn't do that in
No.
the WhatsApp group and then you tell us every evening, who
Yeye
will buy
mwenyewe
the
at
rice?
first alikuwa ananiambia, baby, wedding is a very big thing. Tufanye hivi, tutafute wedding planner, we pay her. Kwambia, as much as I'm here, I'm an administrator.
You did the planning and
Nikwambia,
budgeting,
it will be
the
so,
two of you.
Yes.
Nikwambia, let's kwanza to fix amount ile tutatumia.
Yes. So me,
Tukafix.
we started with a high price. Mimi kwanza aliniambia, wewe unaona harusi ya how much? Nikamwambia, mimi I want harusi kama ya 3M. Akaniangalia hivi. 3 million?
The Jenga in him.
Nikamwambia despite atatufanyia, there is life after
Yes,
wedding.
he kept saying that.
3 million alafu in the next month tulale njaa tena. Na tushatumia all our
Yeah.
resources.
So he said, baby, hapo uta-reduce. I understand your class, I understand what you have, but we can do a beautiful classy wedding. So I listened to him also as well, being you have to learn to listen to your husband and submit, is the head and all of that. That's the time now you start practicing. So for me, I say you practice marriage before marriage. That moment of planning is when we were going counseling as well. By the way, counseling is very important before marriage. So we had committed ourselves to go through counseling until our wedding day.
Will you always respect your husband?
Yes, I will.
By the powers given to me by the church and the state of Kenya, I do pronounce you Mr. Njenga, husband, and pronounce you Queen Anne, wife. What God has put together, let no human being put asunder. Do you have a ring?
And now finally you did the wedding.
Finally we did, and we did it on our, just the two of us, and we loved it because
What?
we never had anyone helping us financially in any way. So we decided we are going to do this, just us two. So it was also a very wonderful time to learn about how finances work in a marriage as well. So we went through the, you know, I trust you, go do this, do that. And then he's like, I trust you, go do this, go do that. This is what I have spent today. We would break down to each other what has happened, what is happening, what balance is left, and what we are going to do with it. So we had a proper plan of exactly how we want it to happen.
Pia unajua kulikuwa na rorashio pia. We started with rorashio.
Yeah.
So rorashio ilikuwa 2 weeks before our wedding. So you see,
A rich
kushikanisha
couple
hizo.
this one. A rich couple this one, guys. Hey.
So we had to plan for the rorashio. We had to plan for the rorashio. We do the rorashio
By
thing
yourselves.
by yourselves. Alafu I remember the rorashio time. Our parents were like, "You guys, are you sure you're still doing a wedding? Garden iko wapi?" Our garden ilikuwa garden Karen. Hiyo tujaona. Are you sure guys? You should send some people there. Like unajua pia walitoka from the US pia wakakuja, hawajui tumeplan aje. Hao wanaongojea wedding, so wako like, itafanyika. Mko sure ni mtafanya wedding? Nikwambia everything is planned. So I just told them, you guys just come and attend. That's all I need from you.
And funny, there was a time, for me, I remember it was like a week before our wedding. For me, I was feeling so lost, and I was like, Jesus Christ, is this thing really going to
Yeah,
happen?
you handle pressure.
I don't know how to handle so much pressure. For him, I remember he stood outside the compound and he did his hand like this, and he was like, anything I touch never loses or never goes
I don't believe in
bad.
defeat.
He does not believe in defeat. He literally did this.
That's quite an affirmation right
And
there.
I remember that moment I told myself, hey, me, I have a husband and I have. And so I told myself, you know what? I am not going to stress myself. I'm going to relax and I'm going to let my husband drive
Handle
this
things,
car.
yeah.
And me, I'm just going to sit there as the passenger. Wherever he needs help, I am going to help him. But as long as he has told me that he got it, I have to trust he got it. And how everything turned out, I can never say, even you know how people finish weddings and they're like, hey, sisi, nguo zetu, sijui zilikuwaje, mtu wetu, you vendor failed us this. There is nothing bad we ever have to say about our wedding. Nothing.
Way perfect.
Everything went
From the
above
clothes,
and beyond.
Suits, nguo zao, wedding dress yake. So I remember the first day I introduced her to my mom was in the farm. Nikamwambia, mom, ndio huyu.
And that was
Imagine,
that was the introduction.
Mam ndio huyu, queen ndio ule, fanya hivi, simama toka hapa, enda pale, enda muongee na mam. And funny, the first conversation we had with his mom was over 2 hours. We were just standing on the farm and I felt like we shared both our hearts. Like I gave her my heart and she gave me a heart. And I was so like why is everything so beautiful? Unaona, nilikuwa bado na hiyo notion where there is something beautiful, there is something bad that is coming. So I kept asking myself, why when unasikianga hata stories za mother-in-laws, they don't like each other with the daughter-in-law. For her, the way she shared her heart with me to the point she was so emotional, she cried. I was like,
is it a trap?
Is this a trap? Like, what is going on? But funny enough, his mom now, she's like my best friend. She's the only person I can call and tell anything concerning my relationship. Wow.
And now you have entered marriage. You have already done your wedding.
Yes.
And it's a long distance marriage. And I understand that marriage comes with childbearing. There's the conjugal rights and whatever. And of course people would question. So how are you people navigating that aspect of your marriage?
I think trust sana. Like I always trust her. Like talking of conjugal, like kuka over okay, 1 year anakujanga 2 times roughly. Like in a year tunaweza spend 3 to 4 months, which together. I was very okay with that.
For me, I think marriage is an institution where it's done with God, and in marriage, every marriage has its own thing it comes with. For me, I believe there is fruits in waiting, and I believe there is fruit in being patient. I believe there is fruit in love, genuine love, and I think if our love was not genuine, the fruit we could have never even been here talking about our love to people. And those are the things that keep me knowing that even if I go, I stay a year or something, that I am going to still be faithful to my partner. Nothing necessarily is changing from a relationship to a marriage. The only thing it may change to a title, but it's still the same Jenga, it's still the same queen. And also something else that I tell him every day, I think we have even spoken about it this morning coming here, viewing the people you have around you as a gift. When you start looking at people as gifts from God, you will never take anybody for granted and you will never do people wrong, especially being that he's my husband. He is the greatest gift that it will ever walk on earth, just specifically for me.
Queen, yeah.
So I look at him as the same way God gave him to me. It's just you close your eyes and you open like this and God has taken him back. This is his child. He can do whatever he wants with him. So I don't take him as, oh, sasa wacha nirudi huko. I go do what I want to do and then I come back and it's still. I look at him as God sees. Whatever he doesn't see, his maker sees it for him. And he made him for a purpose. I think we need to start looking at people more as gifts and realizing we're not here for a long time. We're here for a very beautiful time. The time that God has given you with that person, make it countable. When God comes back, and he asks you, what did you do with that time? Say, God, even you saw I carried the person you gave me as a gift. I treated it as a gift. I enjoyed it as a gift. And now time is for you to have it back. God, if that's your will, it's your will.
Mr. Jenga, right now, for someone who would want to be in a long-distance marriage or relationship, whatever, what would you tell them?
First of all, they have to build trust. They also have to understand that relationship is work. Tolerance. You have to tolerate your partner. You have to tolerate your partner. Long distance works. The key thing is communication. Communication is everything. Like for ourselves, one of our challenge in the time zone, juu ile time yako usiku mimi niko mchana. Na ile time yako mchana mimi niko usiku nimelala. So communication is everything. Na kukua straight to know what you're doing. So hata nikifanya kitu naweza mwambia, babe, I'm watching a football match. Can I call you in the next 30 minutes when the match is over? When the match is at break? She's like, okay, baby, I'll call you. Like a day, we can call each other over 4 times and talk over at times 1 hour, at times 30 minutes. It depends on what we are talking. So communication is the key thing in a long distance relationship. Wow. So we do video calls, we do everything. We pray together, we fast together. Alafu putting God at the center of everything. That's the key thing. Just trust and love.
What is that one thing that you wish you knew before getting into this kind of a relationship?
One thing I wish I knew
before. Maybe somebody prepared you for it before you entered into this kind of a relationship.
Love works and good relationship exists. For me, I was in such a negative mind about such stuff. Like someone told me, Queen, utapata mtu siku moja na atakupenda, you have such a beautiful heart. But because of the way I was, I never believed it. I kept telling myself, hakuna mtu anaweza nipenda mimi na akae na mimi like completely, na asicheat, na kuwe faithful, na anipende anione like the flower. So for me I was like, it will never happen. And then when we entered into a relationship together, I was like, oh wow, so a man can be this amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jenga.
The relationship works. True love exists pia. Mjua pia, like I was like naona ni kama haita in a long distance. But I believe marriage works. Like marriage works. I love putting God in everything. She's so loving. Okay, niusema me growing up pia mama aliniambia a woman creates an environment in the home. So when you have a good woman, uleta create a conducive environment in your house, you'll always be happy. And when a man is happy, she will always stick by you through it all.
Mimi, the only thing I would just say, I think in the society and time we are, a lot of people don't believe in true love because of the outside elements, like finances, you know, kuna hata looks. Kuzi nimesikia ati mimi kama si ayuko hivi, it's not gonna work for me. And sometimes you skip a beautiful heart, focusing on things that can be found and things you can create yourself. You will never create character in someone, but looks naeza tunanunuliana look smart sana na tunaka very good. Exactly. And money God gives, and you can get one opportunity like this and your life changes na ni hivyo na mmeomoka. But character, utaenda kuangalia ule mtu wako hivi na kuna mtu wako hapa amekupatia really good character, uangalie and you're like, no, this is not for me. Focus on people's hearts. Focus on seeing people with their hearts, not what they have on the outside. The outside is based on the environment someone has grown up on. It's based on the challenges someone has grown up with, and maybe they didn't have the best person to advise them to become a better person. And so they turned out to be who that thing was. But deep within them, their heart is very different. And so focus on seeing people with their hearts and loving people just for who they are.
Yeah. Wacha story mingi.
Wacha tu story mingi.
Sasa hata mimi nasemanga roho mbaya ndio inafanya watu pia wakose kumove. Like ukiangalia on our comment segments utaona people will say the internet never forgets. At 4 years down the line we are here to witness the downfall. The same way I also say I serve a living God. 4 years down the line, the internet never forgets to. I'll be here speaking about how love imekuwa towards us, how God amekuwa faithful to us. And I don't believe in defeat the same way. So I don't believe in marriage like inaweza, considering ilifika mahali to a wedding, I always envision myself like ile moment nitafanya wedding nitakuwa find my perfect soulmate, of which God has been faithful through it all. And I'm so happy to have us, my wife.
Must be nice. One last question before I give you an opportunity to tell each other something sweet. Would you say there's a notion in the society that kids who are not brought up by both of your biological children, especially the ladies, they turn out a certain way? Would you say that is the same case? Especially the girls, they're very judged. I think if you are not brought up by your dad, you grow up to be whatever.
I don't think so, but most percentage kubwa in the society inakuwaga hivyo. But I don't believe in that. It depends on how you will carry yourself. Everything is mindset. Yeah. How you focus on your mind, what you want in life. Like for your mindset, like if you grow up ukijua ati mimi nataka mwanaume anaendesha Benz, mimi nataka hizo vitu zote mna build. So in the society, I think it's all about mindset, what people think. Yeah.
And ladies, Tuko ready to, if you have grown up that way, imagine be ready to accept love. I don't necessarily always even blame those ladies, because now you are growing with a mindset of you want to protect yourself.
Yeah, because you
have been neglected from the beginning, and so it's subconsciously your mind is, I am here to protect myself because no one was there to protect me, to show me this, to show me that. Be at some point rest in Christ. I think I have learned to rest. You know, even people have that notion of it's long distance. Hujui mwanaume anafanya nini huko, nini. Imagine learn in this life to rest. Yani sile rest ati siko job. Unavenye uko job unaendanga unalala kwa kiti unaona TV umerest. Learn to let your heart rest the same way in Christ and tell yourself, my life, you know, he taught me how to do affirmations as well. My life, God has not created me in no type of way for bad things to exist to me. I am a masterpiece. He took a whole day to create me. So that means he really wants the best for me. His plans for my future are great. Imagine affirm yourself like that. If something bad happens, whatever was meant for bad, God turns it around for my good. Rest. Wow. Allow God to... Our pastor, who we sat down with, a very great man, told us, allow God to take your hand and help you write. And where he wants you to erase, allow him to erase and let him write again. Stop looking at life with a notion of negativity. It is a mindset that has taken me so long to put down, but with the help of God and my husband, the angel God sent me, I have been able to place it down. Allow God to rest, imagine. Rest uangalie tu life. Inaweza kani spirit ya I don't care, but in your mind you know, I care, but I rest because the author of this life ako hapo mbele na anajua venye anaipeleka. Allow someone to love you. Allow someone to enter into your bubble, to take out those bad parts you have within yourself. Allow that person to help you polish yourself, because I have learned that he loves me so much. So he's polishing me to be the best version of myself. Allow the person to polish you. Because sometimes us ladies, when you grow hivyo, unajipatanga anakucorrect na uko zile za na unaniambia nini wewe kwanza. Do you know what I have gone through? Nini, you become a victim of what you went through growing up. But when you take that victim mentality out and tell yourself, you know what, God sent me this person to come and polish me and help me become the better version of myself. I'm going to let him polish whatever he wants to polish, and trust is God who sent him. That's it.
And for us to close this episode, I would like each one of you umwambie mwenzako the sweetest words that you would think of right now.
I want to say that I love you. You're the best thing that have ever happened to me. You're my best friend. You're my bubble. And I love you so much. You're so beautiful. And through this journey, I want God to always take the wheel, to always go in the positive way of life, and to always love each other regardless of our situation, our background, or anybody around us. I love you.
I love you too. Mine is, you know that I've always loved you and you're like the best person that has ever come into my life. You have made me to be a better person, and for that I'll always love you, respect you. As I've always told you, we are here to help each other. So I'm here to be your helper. Any baggage you got, I got you.
Thank you. Pinky promise.
Pinky promise.
So you can tell us your social handles and where people can find you, because literally, I guess you can mentor young couples, especially the Gen Z couples, when you're tunaonanga wakifanya couple channels and whatever, or maybe who are not in the internet but they would want to bring up a family together, and especially people who are going through a long distance marriage.
For us, our TikTok is the K5 family. My Instagram is Ann Jenga. Facebook is Ann Candy, and our YouTube, it's the Jenga
K5.
The Jenga K5 family.
Okay.
Facebook Jenga Masharia, Instagram Jenga Johnny, TikTok same Jenga Johnny, X Jenga Johnny too.
And so guys, I don't even think I have anything else to add, but my take home today has been that allow God to take your hand and that pencil and help you write your story, and where he needs to erase it, allow him to erase, and true love exists, and relationships and marriage can work. My name is Njermasi, and until next time, keep it Tuko.